Hey guys, this is Martin Perdomo, the Elite Strategist, and you're listening to Latinos in Real Estate Investing podcast. Today I have Sean Boyle with me. This young man he has his own podcast. He has the Sean Boyle podcast, and it's on entrepreneurship, right, Sean? And I'm going to let you tell us about it. I'll admit I'm not really good at doing intros and stuff like that, but I know it's on entrepreneurship and growing all aspects of life. This is going to be a fun interview. I'm certain this young man and I have spent some time talking. And Sean, welcome to the show. And so just tell us a little bit about yourself, Sean. Who is Sean Boyle? Why did you start your podcast? But who are you? Tell us your story. Who are you?
Martin, my man, thank you so much for having me. So who am I? I'm a kid from South Philly, born and raised. I don't want to go into the whole Will Smith corny intro, but man, I started entrepreneurship when I was 15 years old, like you said. I am a young guy. I started my own podcast and business, throughout college. And for 360, man, we do virtual tours for properties, physical locations. We also do digital marketing as well. And yeah, man, I mean, I'm an avid real estate investor too. In these Corona times, it's fucking crazy because you can get sub 3% mortgages, and we'll talk about that a little later on. But I've just been making moves, man, throughout the coronavirus. Like, you can either play defense and say, oh, I'm going to get sick, whatever, or you can go out and make moves, which I'm trying to do. You know what I mean? So you're, first and foremost, I thank you so much for having me on. It's an absolute pleasure, man.
I appreciate that. Thank you for being here, Sean. My first question is, tell us about Virtual 360, right? So you have this company. It's called Virtual 360. What is Virtual 360? Right, it is virtual. Is it virtual? It's Momentum 360. My apologies. It's a virtual company, but it's Momentum 360. My apologies for that. So tell us about Momentum 360. What is that company? What do they do? And how does it help real estate investors? And then I got so much questions for you. I want you to tell me about Philly. What the hell's happening in Philly? I'm about 2 hours away from Philly, but I know Philly is it's not doing so well. But tell me about Virtual 360 first.
Oh my God, man! Listen, Virtual 360, Momentum 360, don't matter. You can Google it. We'll come
Momentum,
up.
I keep that's it. That's the official
listen,
name.
man. The beautiful thing about SEO with fucking Google, you can Google us, and we've hacked that system. We rank for everything now. So about Momentum 360, yeah, like I said, we do virtual tours, virtual staging, and it helps real estate agents because, like the coronavirus, you can't have in-person tours, so you can have a virtual tour. Think of the studio you're in right now. Think of this beautiful, little call room I'm in. We could literally render that with technology to say, hey, this is exactly what it's going to look like. This is the exact kind of finishes you're going to have. So as a real estate investor or, family looking to buy the property, they can say, oh my God, holy shit, I can look. This is exactly what I want. And you can literally walk through it as if you were there. So it's a no-brainer for real estate agents, for co-working spaces, pretty much anything with the physical location. I mean, you don't have to be as blind as Helen Keller not to go with this. I mean, it's just so amazing in terms of the technology. And, we've, to give you some numbers, man, I mean, we literally just signed a $60K deal yesterday with PRA Health Sciences. They have places in the Netherlands, in Prague, in Spain, and it's fucking great. I mean, I'll be honest, to be a 23-year-old kid, I've worked my ass off to get where I'm at, and it's just fun. This, like I said, real estate, and it's connecting the two, right? I was like, how do we really connect the two of this? And this is the thing that ties into my real estate investing too. So this is gravy for me, man. I wake up every day and I'm like, God, knock on wood, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. This is just fucking, it's not even work, man. And I'm not even trying to be cliche when I say that. I love what I do. This is what I was meant to do. No BS about it. And that's it. It's a good life. It's a great life.
So tell me about so you have Momentum 360. I got that right this time. So you have Momentum 360, and man, I think I'm a strategist, right? So I go by the Elite Strategist. I'm a strategist. I'm constantly playing chess. I'm constantly looking ahead at what my next move is going to be, and if I do this move, what will this do? What will that do? And now, as a real estate investor, as an entrepreneur, my moves are, as I look at the data, right? As I look at the data, what's going on in Philadelphia with the riots, and we have a foreclosure, FHA foreclosure crisis. I just got data yesterday that 1 million, there's 1 million loans, right, mortgages that are 30 days late, all right, 30 days late. This just came out. This data came out September 17th. We're recording this. What's today's date, Sean? Today's the 18th.
18th,
So
yeah,
this
I read the same report.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So 1 million people are 30 days later more that have not filed for forbearance. Okay, that have not filed for forbearance. That's something totally different. So when I look at this data, here's how I think. I'm looking at that and I'm saying, okay, where's my opportunity in that? How can I get ahead of that? When I look at what we're in right now, right, coronavirus, and experience this, it really exposed a lot of things for me in my business. This whole coronavirus thing really exposed a lot of different things for my business. And one of the things that I decided to do, right, was, okay, if another coronavirus happens again, how can I be ahead of it? If something crazy like this happens again, how can I be ahead of it? My point being, you having Momentum 360, man, you had this prior to COVID, right? Prior to COVID, the company was up, right? Am I correct in that, or did you start it during COVID?
So we started it before COVID, but dude, I'd be lying to you if I said we were doing the same business we did, before and with COVID. We've exploded it.
Yeah, that's my point. That's the point I'm going. I'm gonna let me finish making this point real quick. That's the point I'm going, right? You were, and I guess, in your youth, you guys think a lot, and I say you guys, I mean, I'm old enough. I have a son older than you. I have, you're thinking digitally. You guys are, this is your culture. You grew up in that, right? So you were able to think prior to COVID and create this thing. And then bang, COVID happened and you, boom, blew up, right? So Tony Robbins, when we talked about Tony Robbins, right? I'm always talking about clarity. I'm always talking about clarity on the show, how clarity is your power, knowing who you are, what you are. And we're going to talk about incantations in a little bit. Who you are, what you are, where you're going, that's your power. But anticipation is ultimate power. Not that you anticipated, and that's what I'm always trying to do, is I'm always trying to anticipate where the market's going and how I can get in the way of it to be in the way of the success, right? So I can succeed. So my point is, you have Momentum 360, dude, and I'm sure that your business blew up. Please tell us about that and how that happened for you. Tell us about that experience, right? You had this business right before. How did that all evolve for you, Sean?
So, dude, imagine like fucking Jeff Bezos when he started Amazon. He was in his little cooped up thing with like the purple Amazon store. You remember that? He just had that. Yep. And he was like 2008, 2009. And dude, you're just planting the seed. That's really what it was. We understood, okay, you look at where the market's going, photos and video, they're okay, but if you have a virtual tour, technology that is, it should be in the Jetsons, you know what I'm saying? It's so technologically advanced that why wouldn't you want to do it? And for 360, man, I mean, to be honest with you, from April to now, we've about 10x our revenue, our rankings, awesome, our locations. Dude, we fucking made 30 new locations in the US. Can you think about that? 30. So we're HQs in Philly. We're in Miami, LA, Boston, Chicago, like all the big cities. All the big cities we're in. We're in Canada too. I know some French woman I used to go out with, and God bless her. She is a heart of a saint. You know what I mean? She definitely hooked it up with the location, and she's still teaching me French at this point. I can just say "Je m'appelle Sean." That's all I can say. I'm more of a Spanish guy. Like, hablo español para 6-7 años. My girlfriend, which we can get into this, my ex-girlfriend, I should say, is Colombian. She's from Medellin, and we have a whole story about Pablo Escobar. I can tell you if you want to know, but it's fucking crazy. I mean, her family literally wrote for the Medellin Times, right? And Pablo, when he was in his reign in the 90s, came to her house one night and said, hey, you've either two options. Either you can go and write the article and we'll like kill you right then and here and just be honorable, or you can just delete it and leave the country, right? So they said, fuck you, we're not going to delete anything. And they left the country that night. They just left the article up. You could probably still look it up today. And she personally has never been back since. So it's a crazy story, man. I've told this like a million times, and she really fits into the picture too, because she obviously helped develop. That's the thing I communicate with you. I'm like, listen, man, I'm not fluent in Spanish, but I can understand what you're saying. So this is going to be a perfect thing. But back to 360, it's just been about growth. You have to, like you said, anticipate the market, whether you're in real estate, like for Philly, dude, especially. You look at, sure, we have riots going on. We have, and the mortgages, dude, 30 days late. A million fucking people, 30 days late. What does it tell? Is it 2008 all over again? I'm not sure. I wouldn't go that far, but I would say that there is definitely some opportunity. So good neighborhoods, the thing I can't stress enough, man, is if you're in the position financially, whether you can get a cosigner or you can just outright put a nice down payment on a property, get that property, put some people in it. Like what I'm going to do, my first property, I'll tell you. So I bought it, it's in Francisville, and my mortgage is $2,000, right? Now I live in the master suite. I get paid to live, for free. I get $400 surplus per month. I get I charge my three roommates $800 a pop. That's $2,400. So $400 a month. I get $4,800 per year. That's $5,000 damn near. I get just based off revenue, and I live for free, and I get paid to live for free. So it's like boggles my mind where people say, "Oh, we don't have any opportunity, coronavirus." But you can't you have to anticipate it, man. You have to create your own reality, your own circumstances. Because if you let, there's some cliche phrase out there. It's like, oh, you let the day, control you. You have to control the day. That is so fucking true. You have to go and take it, And if you don't do that, and you just sit back on the sidelines, play defense, then you're going to get run over. And then you're going to be the same person complaining, oh, well, it's the system, it's the government, whatever. You can't make that fucking excuse, man. So, point blank, we're just fucking, opportunists, and we saw it, and we just, HB dive right up the middle. We fucking just plowed right in the end zone, man. So it's been great. I mean, it's great.
So really I want to touch a little bit on house hacking, right? So you house hack. So some of the listeners are saying, wait a minute. How do you do that, right? Yeah. Maybe there's a listener out there saying, wait a minute. You live here, that you live there. We call we use the term house hacking in real estate for that. Tell us step by step, how did you do that?
So So the first step that I tell all the people that I've talked to is you need to figure out what kind of financial position you're in, right? Once you figure out that, you can kind of formulate a plan around, okay, do I want to invest in condos? Do I want to invest in single family homes? If you want to just say, oh, you're a real estate investor, what do you invest in? Because that's such a broad phrase. It's just like we were talking earlier, the digital cloud. You can buy cloud. You can say, oh, I'm a real estate investor, but you don't have any property. You know what I mean? So it's just ridiculous. So figure out what kind of financial situation you're in. Second is you need to talk to a lot of different realtors. Find the realtor for you. Find the one that has good lingo that you understand. Don't talk to someone and say, yeah, we're going to go with him, that has big words. You don't understand what he's talking about, and he makes it complicated. Invest in what you know. That's the biggest thing that I personally have done. I know all the stuff, A through Z. I know all the loopholes, all the stuff. So nothing gets tripped up. There's nothing that I don't understand. And then the third thing is, which we can talk about in more detail, is actually, finding your plan. So I'll give you an example. The property I bought was $400K, and I literally paid $1,000 down for it. Okay, so let's just say 400,000. Let's just say $30,000 for a down payment, right? We could do something like that. So you can get a 6% seller's assist, which is $24K, right? Okay. And this is just like, stuff that I was able to get for, the average person. I don't know if you can get this, but you can get a seller's assist for first-time home buyers, and then a grant from Bank of America. The Bank of America grant was like $5,000. So, I got a really good deal.
They're giving away $5,000. Bank of America, I didn't know that. Educate us, please. How does this work?
So Bank of America grant. The thing is, you can go and talk to any broker in that in the country, really. And yeah, Bank of America is giving out a grant. It really depends on your situation, of course. But yeah, they're giving out a grant for first-time home buyers, and I'm pretty sure you can even qualify if you have a couple of properties under your belt too. And it's wonderful because they are definitely accommodating.
It's $5,000. The Bank of America is giving a $5,000 grant. You got that grant?
Yes. Yeah. And it's fantastic. I mean, yeah, it's tremendous. I mean, and then once you, because again, with financing, you're going to need to take a mortgage out. So, and you're going to, have to put a down payment too. So again, what does a mortgage look like? People don't know what a mortgage is. You need to take out a loan to get the money to obviously pay for the place. People, they don't just say, oh yeah, $400,000 place, I'm just going to pay it out of salary. You need to, obviously keep up with the payments, and you just need, a lot of people need a loan. I need a loan, so this is stuff where, once we're, multimillionaires, we could just buy the place outright, but once you get the mortgage and you understand the Bank of America grants, then it just becomes so much more fundamental. And, you put $1,000 down, which I was fortunate enough to do. And then you start finding, obviously you want to have the roommates in place. What I did is I found 3 entrepreneurial roommates. I don't want to have party animals. I don't want to have people just messing up my place and, just causing a scene. I want to have people who are trying to literally invest in me and invest in the property too, because you could have people like, and I'll touch on this a little bit, more with when I was working at the bar, when I owned the bar actually. I'd have people there all the time doing blow, doing all kinds of drugs, man. I mean, it was like Candyland over there, but with drugs, it's just ridiculous. So you need to find people that are going to, respect your place and respect you as a person. So that 4th step is find your financial situation, find a good realtor, house hack, find what kind of mortgages you can get. And how you do that is you can go to biggerpockets.com, listen to their podcast, and you'll literally learn every single thing. You can Google how to get a mortgage, how to get the Bank of America grant, how to qualify for, pre-approval. And again, it's, and then the 4th one is obviously, get qualified roommates. And then you formulate that plan. You write it down, right? You write it down on a big, whether you put it on your phone or you type it out. Or for me, I'm a much more like visual learner in terms of writing stuff down because it gets in my brain. The words that I write, I cognizant with my mind. So instead of just typing on a keyboard, so it's more familiar to me when I write stuff down. I can understand it a little bit more. But you just need to find the way that best fits for you in terms of real estate. But again, in Philadelphia, you can get rooftops. You can get, a garage for $400K, man, in a nice area. And it's just like you're going to, like for New York or LA, you're going to spend 3 times that. And like condos, forget about it. For me, I wouldn't recommend condos for a first time investor because, I'll tell you a story. My one friend who invested in the condo, you have to pay association fees, right? His building also included a historical monument, which actually was, I think, listed in National Treasure with Nick Cage. And, it's just, he got hit, the whole building got hit with like a $200,000 fine. So they had to divide it up between how many applicants were on this side of the building, and he got hit with like a $10,000 fee or whatever. So it's just, there's too many variables. And, why wouldn't you want to own a house? You have a rooftop, you have more space, you have your own thing. You don't have to live with people. So to me, it's a lot better for an investment, for my money. So that's what
I'm glad you shared that about house hacking, because there's a lot of young people that need to listen to that message from a peer like yourself. They need to listen to that message. And that's really good, man. This is, guys, ladies and gentlemen, listen to this. If you're a young person like this young man here, Sean, you need to pay attention to this stuff. Take close attention. Pay close attention. Sean, I want to ask you another question. Where did your entrepreneurship, where was that born? Where did you first get this entrepreneur spirit from? I know you shared with me that your story about your dad and bar and stuff like that. Could you share that story with us?
5 years old. I'm 5 years old. I'm learning how to read and all this kind of shit, right? And I see my mom come home one day from work and she's stressed. She has bags under her eyes. You thought that she hadn't slept for weeks, and she's just physically exhausted. She looks like she's like on the verge of a breakdown. And, with my, 5-year-old English, I muttered out, "What's wrong? Like, how are you? Like, what's going on?" She's like, "Oh, like the people at work, my boss is such an asshole." And I'm like, "Your boss?" I'm like, "What is that? What is a boss?" And she's like, "Oh, well, I'll tell you some other day," but it's just like referred to him as the POS, the piece of shit. That's what she referred to him as. And she was saying, "Oh yeah, like the whole boss thing, I work for this person and they pay me a check." And I was like, "Really? That's how it works?" I was like, so I have to work for someone, and this is when I'm 5 years old. I'm thinking about this. I have to work for someone, but I asked her, I'm like, "Are you doing like your own company, like your own brand, or is it just someone you have to report?" And she's like, "No, like I'm working for this person, for we're building up their brand." I'm like, So you're spending your entire life building up someone else's company, building up someone else's brand. And I just thought about that for a couple, years really. And then when I was 7 or 8, I was like, fuck that. I was like, who would want to not build up their brand? I wouldn't say waste, because my mom, she's high in her company now, but you sacrifice so much blood, sweat, and energy for someone else instead of just using that hard-earned energy for your soul, man, that God created for us, for yourself, and building up, your own platform, your own podcast, your own business. Because at the end of the day, my fundamental belief, political or non-political, I lean a little more right, but is on the individual, is on not the system. It's the individual that builds their own stuff. They eat what they kill, and this goes back to when we were fucking cavemen. We were eating, whatever we killed, and we would bring it back. We would have a big feast, and we would go out and hunt again. And the people that are going to rely on others to get the feeding from, how do you expect to, build this entire, boatload of wealth and power if you're doing it for somebody else? And you're going to get, the breadcrumbs. You're not going to get the full package deal because you're not putting that risk in. So when I was 7 or 8, I started up, typical thing, lemonade stands in the summer, shoveling people's, driveways in the winter, that sort of thing. And then when I got into school, man, I was a decent student. I'll be honest, I studied. I got into high school at Roman Catholic Broad and Vine, the best high school in America. I was doing, pretty good grades there. And then I got to college and I wanted to be an engineer. And I just saw that $80,000 starting salary. And I was like, holy fucking shit. I was like, Martin, $80,000 starting salary? Are you kidding me? That's $20K away from 6 figures. Oh my God.
That's a lot of
I couldn't
money,
do math, bro. I couldn't do fucking math. I didn't know anything about calculus. I didn't know anything about science. I just cared about that monetary figure. Now, again, I'd be lying to you if I said I didn't care about money. We all care about money. We all need it to survive. It's a great tool, but it's not the end all be all. You need to find that passion first that comes with it. So that's the whole story of how I grew up and how I started. From 5 years old, man, I understood I don't want to work for someone else. I want to work for myself because I'm in charge. I'm the one at the end of the day who provides for my own family and is going to build my own brand. So the sooner that I do that, the better. So, and that's what just stuck with me. I was like, I always knew I wanted to be a business owner. I wanted to be an entrepreneur. And the best part about it is, man, there's no retirement from this. It's like golf. You could play it until the day you die. Man, it's great. It's beautiful in that aspect. It's such an art, and I love it. And so that's really my story. I mean, I think a lot of people have that kind of similar story, that self-realization, that self-actualization. And the more people can spread that message, the better, because, there's an abundance of money out there, man. There is an abundance. And I think a lot of people have it mixed up where, oh, there's not enough money. I can't start my own business. Dude, there are so many opportunities to make money in 2020. It is baffling. You just need to figure out what you love to do and literally create a false reality and reverse engineer, your mindset to start that business. So, there's no excuses. There's no excuses in 2020. That's for sure.
That is correct. So tell me something, Sean. How does a Momentum 360 could be the next biggest thing, man, in our country. I mean, I could be talking to a young Jeff Bezos right now, right? I don't know that, right? We don't know that, right? Your thing could be the next big thing. Do you sell your product to guys like myself, just investors, right, that have apartments? Who do you work with? Who's your ideal client? Here's the thing. Retail, or do you work with big companies? Or how can you serve an investor?
So we work with Fortune 500 companies and, mom and pop shops and everything in between. You know what I mean? So we've worked with Amazon before, Facebook, Comcast, with the Comcast Center, which is in Philly. It's the tallest building in Philly. You have to Google it. It's beautiful. We've worked with them before.
It's up the road. Well, it's not up the road. It's 2 hours from me, but I'm in Philly.
Yeah, I would just say for 2 hours, listen, you could probably see it still. It's, you know what I mean? It's that tall. But yeah, man, our bread and butter is real estate, obviously. A lot of realtors, a lot of investors. and small business owners too. So for you, for if you have a couple condos, yeah, we'd work with you. And it's, again, the best thing about our product is we can just use a scheduling online platform, and it's literally, there's no barrier to entry anymore with Matterport, which is the virtual tour software we use. So what I mean by that is, we can teach people how to literally build up their own platform. It's like someone creating a course. It's like someone teaching someone how to, build like some Amazon store. It's the same exact thing. Me, keep it on the DL. I'm gonna, I guess, get some little breaking news here, but I'm gonna create my own course. I've been working on it for, some time now. So I would be selling it to, people to create their own virtual tour company. And here's the thing, man. In terms of the revenue, you are talking to the next Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, whatever. And I'm not talking about that from a monetary point of view. I want to talk. I am talking specifically for the legacy I want to leave. Because end of the day, man, I want to give all my money away. I want to have some money, sure, where I can feed my family, but I want my children to understand the struggle for themselves. I don't want them to be some privileged, snot-nosed sons of bitches where they're like, Daddy, where's my, caviar, Chardonnay? Like, where's my, like, what's the Wi-Fi? Oh my God forbid you don't have Wi-Fi for 2 fucking minutes. You go outside, you read a book, you talk to somebody, you talk to your neighbor. That's what life's about, man. And I want them to understand and experience the same exact thing. So, that's what we work with. And that's the people I want to, ultimately impress. Is I want to be talking. And for me, it's not about me. It's about the people that I'm trying to help, and again, I really mean that. And it's hard for someone who is 23 years old to say, you're really not in it for yourself, really, Sean. Like, you don't want to, make all this money, and you don't want to, be the biggest person that you can be. Sure, there is an ego with that, but it's more about the legacy and the power that I can generate and the knowledge that I can transfer. So that's really it, man.
That is interesting to hear from a young man your age, because most young people your age don't speak that way. Most young people don't speak in terms of legacy and things like that. It's people my age. My oldest son got married recently. He's 24. He's 1 year older than you.
Congrats, man. That's awesome.
Thank you. His wife, they've been together since they were 16 years old. I mean, 14. She was 14. He was 16.
Oh my God.
She comes to my house. She's like my daughter. I mean, this young lady is my daughter.
Yeah. She's family.
Yeah, she's been family. I mean, she's been family for years. It just is what it is, right?
Yeah.
Love this girl. And so she comes home, and I call her Tifa. It's a little nickname I have for her. Tifa. That's her maiden name. It's Tufaro. Her last name is Tufaro, so I call it Tifa. That's my little nickname for her. She goes, well, you can't call me that anymore. You can't call me that anymore. I was like, oh, snap. That's right. You're a Perdomo now. That's right. There goes, and my wife just looks at me. I go, there goes my legacy. That's what it's about, right? It's my legacy. It's about creating and leaving that legacy behind, and my father's legacy, because it's no longer about me. My dad, may he rest in peace. It's about making my dad proud and creating that legacy and creating a family business. We're a real estate family, my whole family. But anyways, my point is, where I was going with this, I know that I went a little sentimental there, but my point is that most young people your age, I remember when I was 23, at 23, I had a couple kids already, but at 23, you're thinking, I'm going to grind. I'm going to make as much money. At 23, I used to think that I was going to retire at 35. And I had this belief of retirement, right? What retirement is, because I didn't know what I didn't know. You retire, you don't work, and screw that. I'm never going to retire. I'm going to be an entrepreneur till the end. I mean, it may look different as I get older, but I'm still going to be doing this thing here. I'm still going to be teaching. I'm still going to be growing. If you're not growing, you're dying, guys. If you're not growing, you're dying. So I'm really impressed to see a young man like yourself talk in that matter, because that comes later in life. That comes later. That kind of language comes later in life. Tell me something, Sean, before we wrap it up. Tell me, what is your mindset? Like, it takes, I see you have a certain mindset. What is your ritual like? What is an entrepreneur's ritual like? Because, and I haven't touched on this podcast yet, but I want to touch on that with you. Rituals are important, especially for entrepreneurs. Rituals are extremely important. What is your ritual like, Sean? What do you do in your mornings? I know I have a very I have a very, I've read a lot of books. I've read I don't know if you've read Hal Elrod's Miracle Morning. I have a mix of Hal Elrod's Miracle Morning stuff in my morning ritual. I've put
I have to read it.
that works for me. What does your ritual look like in the morning?
So here's the thing. I'll tell you I'd say what separates me from the average person out there is my morning and my night. Okay, so what does that even look like? So I wake up about 5:30, 6 o'clock every single day. I'm wired like that. I never, like, in terms of sleep, man, like I do get, my 7, 8 hours, whatever. But as soon as it's just like, it's inside me. You just want to get up and start moving. You know what I mean? I can never sleep, past like 10 o'clock, never, even when I'm hungover, you know what I mean? I can never do that. So wake up 5:36, immediately the first 5 minutes, and this is important, the first 5 minutes of my day, I take my phone, I take a notepad, and I write down what do I have to do today. Power list. What are 5 core things that I have to get done today? If I need to have a good day, if I want to have a good day, and I will have a good day, these 5 things will be accomplished. No and, if, or buts. And that can be in business, that could be in the gym, that could be praying, that could be spiritual, that could be anything. You know what I mean? Like, so you just need to list those 5 things. And we were talking earlier, the cantations. So what does that even look like? For me, you might look at me on the outside and say, oh my God, this person's Sean, he's so extroverted. Dude, when I was a kid, I couldn't be more shy. I couldn't be more shy. I was, the one big thing I remember is Heard It Through the Grapevine by Marvin Gaye, you know what I mean? That's one of my favorite songs. I sung that in my 3rd grade, I shouldn't say choir, but we had a whole kind of concert. It was a performance, really. And it was fun. But dude, I was crippled with just shyness and anxiety, and I cared about what people thought of me. So for me, I figured out 2 years ago, I started my ritual, and I was like, okay, I need to create a false reality, because I know that inside I feel anxiety, but it's not about the emotions. It's about what you do, right? It's not about how you feel. It's about what you actually go out and do. Are you going to let your mind dictate you? Oh my God, I think I'm going to have a panic attack. My heart rate's over, 150 beats a minute. I'm just sitting in this chair. What am I having? Am I dying? You're not dying. You're healthy. So what I started to do was, and this is within, we're talking 5:45, 6 o'clock in the morning, right when I wake up, I am confident. I am healthy. I am safe. I am secure, and
Power virtues. Those are power virtues. And if you do
yes.
them in incantations while you're moving your body, it goes deep into your nervous system. Powerful, powerful stuff.
Very powerful, man. And it's so great. And so to follow up on that, and Wim Hof, Wim Hof, the crazy Norwegian guy with the breathing techniques, he has a YouTube video. You can find it. Just literally type in Wim Hof on YouTube, WIMNHOF, and you'll find a breathing video where you literally, for, I'd say 30 breaths, you do it 3 rounds, you through your nose, out through your mouth. And you do that. Then at the 31st breath, you hold it. You hold it for a minute, and you do that 3 times, and you exhale. And you feel almost lightheaded because you're so saturated with oxygen. Your fingers start to spike up, and it's just like you're getting tickled. I mean, you have just a crazy feeling, but it feels good. And for me, that helps me just to calm my body down, to release all the anxieties and the stress that I have to do today. So that's my morning. Diet, intermittent fast, and people don't know what that is. That is simply, not eating for a restricted period of time. I like to do 16 hours. It works for my body type, because I'm, normally I want to be as lean as possible and, ripped as possible. We all do want to be healthy. So, 12 o'clock, 1, 2 o'clock, I eat my first meal. And then I normally don't eat until 7 or 8 again, right? So in my diet, it's like fish, greens. I rarely eat bread or pasta or any carbs like that. Obviously fruit, take my vitamins. I drink tea in the morning, ginger tea with apple cider vinegar, turmeric, just really anti-inflammatory stuff. So that's my morning, right? Go in the office, blah, 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 have a great day. And my wind down is kind of the opposite. I do the breathing technique first, right when I get, showered, in bed, tea, do the breathing technique. And then I literally write down my thoughts of the day. I forget who said this, but it's like we have what 50,000 seconds in a day or something. If someone takes 10 seconds of that day and it makes it crap, are you going to throw the rest of the day away? Are you going to go and cower away and say, oh my God, like you're just going to focus on that one thing? No. So what I do is on my phone, and I'm surprised my phone isn't crashed yet because I have like a fucking novel in here. I have like volumes. You remember those like those volumes like 1, 2, 3, 4 like on those bookshelf when you were a kid and when you were in school, man. It's like that. I have a lot of writing in my phone, and it's just about, okay, what happened in my day? What was good? What was bad? What was the ugly? And getting that out, releasing that is powerful. So I write it, and then I say it. I say it too. So I say, September 18th to 2020, my day started off like this, and I just go through it. So I can release that further of like, okay, now it's out in the open. Oh my God, it's really not that bad. I didn't get that client. Good. I have time to work on more clients. That person didn't pay. Oh, okay, well, they just sent me an email. They're going to pay the other day or next day. We already got the service done, and they paid 50% before, so we shouldn't be worrying about payment. They're going to pay us. Oh, we didn't do that podcast with that guy who, oh my God, he has 100,000 followers. That's crazy. Not only did we not get the podcast, he said that, your show is boring. And he said, the Sean Boyle podcast, it's not what it is. Good. You have other people. You don't want that person on your show with that negative energy. You're doing yourself a favor. So you start to have all those misconceived notions out there and stuff that I, a lot of the times, put in my head, and I write that down. And then the last thing, which I do, which a lot of people do as well, you probably do this as well, Martin, is I visualize my next day. I visualize what am I going to do the next day? What do I have to do? And whether that, again, that's hitting a good workout, going to jiu-jitsu, because I'm a long-time martial artist. Not even tell you this. I love Brazilian jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, Taekwondo, karate. I am obsessed with it. I think it is a beautiful art. And I like basketball, football. Screw them. Mixed martial arts for me that's the best. I mean, I love my Eagles and Phillies and whatever, but mixed martial arts is, for me, it's very pure. It's like gladiators, fighting in the Colosseum in Rome. It's just the purity of it. I love that so much. So back to what I do, I visualize and I say, okay, this is what I got to do. And then many times, Martin, I fall asleep and I'm dreaming about my next day. So when I wake up, it's almost like, it's like Groundhog Day. I think, oh my God, now I have to go do this. You know what I mean? So that's really what I like to do, because then it's programming me not only to have a good day, but I'm believing in this. And then I start off with the cantations again. I am confident. And I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go. Like the energy I used to have, like, oh my God, I don't know, like, am I gonna, do good business today? I'm like, hell yeah, I'm gonna do business today. I'm gonna get on so many podcasts. I'm gonna make this amount of money. I'm gonna help this amount of people. Let's effing go. I'm ready to fucking go. Diet's gonna be clean. Let's hit the gym. Let's murder the gym. Let's, go to jiu-jitsu and have a good session. And you just get the ball rolling and you start to, literally create that false reality and, fake it till you make it, right? That awesome line. That's kind of what I had to do for myself, because I released my anxiety, and sure, it still comes up, here and there, but man, it has that morning and night routine really, really helped me. So it's great. I mean, I encourage everyone to do that.
Guys, this has been great. Sean, thank you so much for being here. Sean, how can the listeners get a hold of you? By the way, thank you for sharing that. It's amazing stuff, amazing rituals that you have there. How can the listeners get a hold of you, Sean? Where can they reach you if they wanted to do business with you, they wanted to connect with you? How can they find you?
So one little call to action, what we can do is go to my Instagram, Sean Boyle, MSeanBoyle, the letter M for Mary. And you can DM me, follow my journey. I post daily content on there. And whether you want to say, hey, great content, or do business with me, just send me a DM and we'll make it happen from there. You can go on my website, momentumvirtualtours.com as well. And that's how we can get in contact. But Martin, thank you so much, man. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
My friend, I appreciate you. I look forward to having you back in the future. I look forward to seeing the big things you're going to do in the future. My man, thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
Yeah, you too, Martin. Take it easy.